All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. We are a month away from live freaking football. Yeah, it's not the Las Vegas Raiders, but we are a month away from the Hall of Fame preseason football game. And before you know it, the regular season will be here. I'm huge on the Las Vegas Raiders. You guys know this. I think even just last year, the Josh McDaniels era, you went 3-6. You're running with Jimmy Garoppolo. Antonio Pierce comes into town. They deploy a freaking third string rookie quarterback, and Antonio Pierce goes 5-4 as the interim head coach. He gets the starting head coaching gig. You have a nice draft pick. You have a nice draft class in general. I seriously cannot wait for Brock Bowers' regular season play with this Las Vegas Raiders team. But everyone's freaking out about the quarterback position. We've talked about the quarterback battle, quote unquote battle, all offseason here. I have no reason to believe it's not going to be Aiden O'Connell. If it's not going to be Aiden O'Connell, maybe we do have some things to figure out. But nonetheless, the rest of the Raiders offense and defense, especially the freaking defense, they're ready to compete right now. And I really don't give a rat's ass who the quarterback and what their outlook looks like or their production looks like, because the Raiders just have such a well-rounded roster, folks. This defense, people do not understand how good this freaking defense is. So we're going to be talking about the Raiders in tonight's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily Raiders and NFL content. If we try and get this video to 100 likes, I would really appreciate it. Nonetheless, happy July. Let's get into it. So it's just the complete dead, barren part of the offseason here. And around this time of the year, I like to go through articles and just kind of live react to them. So I saw this headliner, Raiders heading into training camp. What to be positive about. This is on silverandblackpride.com. This is from a writer named Bill Williamson. You can find him on Twitter, B. Williamson. And I really liked what he had to say here. So we're just going to kind of go through it, and I'm going to give you my thoughts and opinions on it. So one positive for the Raiders heading into training camp is the coach to player vibes. Spirits have been high around this team since the Halloween night when Pierce took over for the dismissed Josh McDaniels. The feeling was different as soon as Pierce took over, and players famously pushed for him to get the job in the offseason. The entire offseason program was marked by coaches and players alike saying how happy they are. Pierce believes in this team, and it has the belief in him. They think they can beat the world together. Folks, we talked about this all last season, and we've definitely talked about it all offseason. So I'm sorry if this is getting a little bit annoying here, but we watch the NFL, right? Like, we all watch the NFL, and even if you're just a diehard Raiders fan, like, you keep up with the NFL. When there is a disarray or a disconnect between the quarterback, the head coach, and his players, whatever it is, it plays a role. And it's important to note because camaraderie is huge. And you look at a team like the Kansas City Chiefs, or if you even look at a team like the Boston Celtics, this year's NBA champions, all of championship teams like each other, and they all enjoy each other's company, and they all enjoy the competition, and they all just want to see themselves succeed, their teammates succeed, and most importantly, the team succeed. And that's the literal difference maker of Josh McDaniels to Antonio Pierce. So we've talked about it time and time again, so I'll just end it there. Moving on, the next excerpt from this article, two defensive line stars. The Raiders made one of the biggest veteran acquisitions of the entire NFL offseason by signing defensive tackle Christian Wilkins. He's an upper-level player who is elite against the run and has made major strides as a pass rusher. He's a great gift for Las Vegas superstar defensive end Max Crosby. It's scary to think how good Crosby will be with Wilkins on the same line. Truly, this is a team-changing move that should have a positive effect on the team every game. It's so baffling to me, months later after the Christian Wilkins move, how much it's been nitpicked. People hate the contract. Like, folks, NFL media literally hates the Christian Wilkins contract. They hate the signing. They are expecting players to not improve. That's one of my biggest critiques with just like NFL writers in the offseason, is if they get so upset over like new additions, as if players don't improve, as if players don't continue to improve. Christian Wilkins last year almost had a 10-sack season as a defensive freaking tackle for the Miami Dolphins. I literally on my main NFL channel just made a video on the Miami Dolphins, and it became like even more evident and transparent to me how big the loss of Christian Wilkins is. The defensive tackle position in the National Football Football League is often overlooked. It's one of the most underrated positions in the NFL as far as all the positions go. It's literally so underappreciated. There are people who make very logical arguments that the defensive tackle is the most important position outside of the quarterback. And the Vegas Raiders just picked up a rising star defensive tackle in Christian Wilkins, let alone the impact it's going to make on Max Crosby. Like we've said all freaking offseason, you can no longer double team Max Crosby every freaking possession. And that became a storyline in the second half when we saw guys like Malcolm Kuntz fully break out. The defensive line in general is freaking loaded. So I totally agree with that. Then the next positive from this article is the defense in general. Totally agree. The presence of Crosby and Wilkins isn't the only reason for excitement about this defense. It played very strong under Pierce last season, and defensive coordinator Patrick Graham has this command in unit. I also just want to throw in, it's important to note this will be Patrick Graham's third year as the defensive coordinator. Anyways, there are several young players such as pass rusher Malcolm Kuntz, cornerback Jack Jones, linebacker Robert Spillane, safeties Marcus Epps and Trevon Moehrig, who can make this unit a top-level unit. Everyone raved about this group in the offseason. If the Raiders can stay healthy, this group could be a difference maker. In my opinion, this could be the difference maker that finally changes the tide with the Kansas City Chiefs, because, Vegas and Kansas City on Christmas Day, and like, folks, I get it. I watched the game. I understand Aiden O'Connell didn't have a completion outside of the first quarter. The fact that the Raiders can go into Kansas City and win a game on Christmas Day, once again, I literally don't even care how the game went. I don't care how it was won or how it was lost for Kansas City. The fact that Vegas can go into Kansas City on Christmas Day and win, the back-to-back defending Super Bowl champions, that's a huge step in the right direction. And even if it just makes Kansas City's life hell this upcoming season, right? Even if Vegas doesn't finish better than Kansas City this upcoming year, they probably won't until they get a more solidified option at quarterback. Who knows if it's going to be Aiden? Who knows if it's going to be Gardner? Hopefully you get the point here. The fact they're able to be competitive and relevant against Kansas City Chiefs is huge. I genuinely think on paper, the Las Vegas Raiders defense is better than Kansas City. I think they have better skill position players than the Kansas City Chiefs. Once again, the only thing holding back the Las Vegas Raiders is the quarterback position. We're still on the fence about Aiden O'Connell. Maybe it's going to be Gardner Minshew. If it's Gardner, I think the season was a huge failure, or I should say the offseason not getting a quarterback. Like, I think Gardner Minshew is a slightly above average backup QB, or he's an above average backup QB. But as far as starter go, I think he's kind of middle of the pack. I'm huge on Aiden O'Connell. I'm huge on this freaking defense. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's video. Phenomenal article. Go check that one out. Go check his Twitter out. But thank you guys for watching in the dead part of the offseason. Happy July. Hit that like button. Hit that sub button. And give me your most favorite part about the Las Vegas Raiders down below. Peace.